Hello and welcome to episode 169 of the 77 Club. Harry, hit me with the socials.
The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Tell a friend and subscribe.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, Wolves fans.
And Joe Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, another win in the Premier League for Wolves, 2-1 over Everton. Harry, I kept turning to you during the match and you weren't there. So what happened to begin with? Because I know you sometimes struggle to make these midweek clashes.
Well, if everyone listened last week and heard how rough I was, I had a 6-day bender. I had the week off work, went to London, drank from Wednesday to Sunday, got to Monday, first day back at work, and I couldn't be arsed, I'll be honest. But I did watch it on Sky. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sam, looking at my seat.
Now, what everyone is saying at the moment is you drinking continuously from Wednesday to Sunday. What is the difference to a normal week, of course?
I don't usually have the week off, do I? So
No, that's very true. Right, okay. Well, let's have a look at that starting 11. Trincao coming back in, Harry. I was quite surprised to see him there. I don't know about you, but I thought he did really well.
Yeah, I was surprised, but at the same time, Traore didn't have the best of games against Leeds, as discussed last week, but I thought it'd be Pedence coming in, to be honest. But he come in, did well, apart from missing his howler second half, where he should have put us 3-1 up. Thought he was absolutely brilliant first half. And is it tactical genius from Bruno Lage, or is it Adama Traore's playing up behind the scenes still? We'll never know.
Jack, I think it's close to a month last time we played at Molineux, because obviously we had the international break, 2 away games. So it's been quite a long time since we'd been at home. Atmosphere, I thought, was fairly decent. I don't know how it came across on TV, but good to get the win.
Oh, yeah. And I think we just need to stop for a minute and give them all a bit of credit for how brilliant, particularly that first half or the first 30 minutes or so. We were absolutely brilliant. The midfield ran the show. Our passing was just amazing. We were running rings around them. It was skillful. It was dangerous. It was attacking. It was like the Bruno ball we witnessed back in the early games of the season. And full credit to them. They came out in the blocks absolutely steaming. Obviously, Hwang had his goal, which watching in real time, I thought was onside. Watching it back was rightly called offside. I think it's because the ball was played so slowly that if there was no VAR, I don't think that would ever get called, really.
No, I don't think it would.
But he finished it well, or finished it exactly where it needed to go. But we didn't let that that VAR disallowed goal get our heads down, really. And we just cracked on. And I was just really, really absolutely blown away. And Everton, they didn't have a touch first half. We absolutely battered them first half. They had no shots. I think they probably had one touch in our box, and we absolutely destroyed them. I was reading through it on Twitter, and their fans were just going like, "This is mad." They were, completely outplayed, completely outclassed. And fair play to the guys. They absolutely did the job. Really, obviously, second half was a bit different. They did come back into it, and arguably we should have been out of sight because we had the chances to. A third goal at any point kills that game, but we did manage to hang on, and overall, the performance I think was brilliant. Particularly first half, I was just so impressed. It's really nice of Kilman to get his goal as well because it's been coming.
Mm-hmm. I think you called it the best we've played in the Premier League since we came up.
I think it was the best. I think I said it was the best first half of football that we played in the Premier League that I can remember. I think, yeah. Well, for quite a while, definitely at least, and that's some credit really. So fair play to the guys; they really did deliver.
Bayliss, I guess you think the same. An incredible first half. I mean, Everton were lacklustre and terrible, but you've still got to play football.
Yeah, I thought we put them to the sword, didn't we? Really, it should have been more. I think Pickford made a couple of really good saves. It's game of two halves, as some people say. But first half, you can't say anything but positive things, can you? I thought we were absolutely superb. I think we controlled every single bit of the game. I couldn't name a moment where Wolves weren't in control and didn't look threatening. I think
Harry,
in the first, I think for the most of the game, other than maybe Sarr's sort of cock up and where Cody sort of saved him, I think all 10 players on the pitch that are good at football had a positive impact on the match.
Excellent. That's a weighted answer. I'm not going to bite it. Harry, Pickford turned into prime Buffon during that first half. And, I think against any other keeper probably in the league, at least one of those chances is going in. But to pull off 2 world-class saves was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, we could have been 5 up at half time. Hwang's disallowed goal. You've just mentioned the saves there, and I agree with Jack. I like the fact that the disallowed goal didn't get our heads down. What I will say is, I think tactically Everton got it really wrong. And when Fabian Delph come on at half time, he completely changed the game. Then they started having success, but still, and also what I will say, just to put a tiny bit of a dampener on it. The last 2 games, we have played 2 teams where we've had like 3 or 4 of their best players out injured, but we've still got 4 points out of the 2 games. So, but still, we took it to them. We deserve to win by more than 2-1. The result does not tell the full story. And in particular, Neves, he was like a man possessed. Ait-Nouri, incredible. Raul, obviously, his dink finish, really good goal. And for Kilman, man, with Southgate sat in the stands to score that goal and put in the performance he did, he might be having a phone call soon for the England call-up.
I don't know about that.
You never know. Would you get Kilman on the back of your shirt, or would you stick with the one that's not played a minute of tournament football like Jack did?
Cody? Yeah. Oh, yeah, good point. I mean, if you talk about England squad, though, you think Tyrone Mings is probably looking over his shoulder, but you think Ben White's going to be in front of him, because Ben White's been.
I would have thought so, yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
And possibly got Ben Godfrey as well for Everton.
He was left back, wasn't he? I don't think that helped him either.
Yeah, I think he was absolutely breathing out his arsehole, wasn't he? Bayliss, Harry mentioned it there. I think the spine of their team was missing, really. You look at Yerry Mina, he was out. Decore, he's had a brilliant start to the season so far. No Calvert-Lewin in there either. So getting those points is very, very important. As Bruno said sort of last week, we need to get the points on the board now, because we're losing at least one of our starting centre-backs in January.
I think across the whole season, you come into teams that are in and out of form, and we might have had a bit of fortune that Everton were out of form, but you can only beat the 11 that are in front of you. They're still decent. They're still a decent team. Nothing wrong with them. Richarlison normally has an absolute day out against us. And we kept him quiet pretty much the whole game. So I don't think there's anything in that. I think we were far superior first half. There was just no words to describe it, as that we utterly battered them. But second half, they had to come out and have a go at us, didn't they? Can't go in 2-0 at half time and try and play the same way. They were going to come at us on the front foot, and maybe we were a bit more solid defensively than I thought against those sort of last 20 minutes against Leeds. Yeah, maybe Leeds didn't have Bamford either, but
didn't have Phillips either.
I didn't think Everton had that much of an attacking threat, and it was just the ball sort of broke into the box and he just got his shot away quickly. But we had that a couple of times. Trincao should have put the game to bed anyway.
Yeah, a terrible miss, really. I mean, he's not scored from there. I mean, Somerset Wolves put it in the comments there, Harry. Do you think Trincao playing, we look a lot more balanced than when Adama plays?
Yeah, what I did notice as well is I thought him and Semedo on the day linked up really well, which Semedo hasn't had someone in front of him to link up with properly, really, apart from when Trincao was in the early stages of the season. So that worked really well. And obviously on the other side as well, Hwang and Ait-Nouri. The win backs,
you've been pissed for
really
a week,
important.
but did you watch the fucking game?
What are you on about?
Honestly, I could not think of 2 people that didn't play together well on the pitch more than Trincao and Semedo. Everyone else had a blinder, and then down the right-hand side, they linked up awfully.
I'm just
we
not
get around the back
anymore.
once.
I'm so bored of it, Bayless. I'm not even entertaining it. It's just you're just talking out your ass on Everton. Now, so there's no point.
Absolutely pissed on Everton for 45 minutes, and the only position on the pitch where we didn't get around the back and threaten them was down the right wing.
I thought Trincao had a great game, and I thought Semedo
had a good game. Trincao had a good game.
Baffles me, mate.
I think you've got an agenda,
look at where all the attacks came from. Nothing came from that sort of 1-2, break the line.
Did you see
get round the back,
second half, Bayless,
down
where
the
we
right?
got a penalty, but then they give it a free kick? That came down the right. There's one example.
I said
Trincao.
First 45 minutes.
Well, you said nothing at all.
You said a game of 2 halves a minute ago.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the first half where we utterly battered them.
Sometimes
and
I
in
can
that first
agree
half,
with you, but you're completely wrong this week. You're completely wrong. Semedo had a really good game.
He didn't do anything. He had no positive impact on the entire match. Wolves were absolutely superb. That was Trincao that did all that. Semedo made one pass inside.
Is Semedo just invisible then? He just don't ever touch the ball down the right?
Mate, I commented for the entire game, listing out all the good and bad things he did. And he did about 4 good things.
Mate,
and
it's boring.
Full of crap.
And I think it's just so
I'm right, though. This is the thing. I'm right. You just disagree with me, but I've got swathes of people messaging me going, yeah, you're right. You're correct.
Jack and Sam.
No, I very rarely agree with Bayless. So
there we go. So I'm not the only one. There we go.
I can't really fault anyone. I can't really fault any player after that performance. I thought the team performance was brilliant. I mean, Paul Somerset Wolf has said it as well.
I'm not faulting him. I'm just saying, out of all the positives on the entire pitch, where we were so dominant, he didn't do anything. How do you praise someone that offered nothing? We battered a team for 45 minutes. We should have been 3 or 4 up. And the only person that didn't have a positive impact going forward was Semedo. He gets the ball on the right-hand side.
You're so wrong, mate. It's funny.
I'm so right. Watch the game. He gets the ball on the right-hand side. And when you've got a 1-2 where you slip someone in on a through ball, or you push it out wide and try and get around the back, they never do it. He's done it once against Leeds, and you still haven't got his knob out your mouth, mate.
Was excellent. Semedo had one of his best games. There we go. There's someone else who agrees with Sam, Jack, and me. There we go.
But also, do anything,
Paul? You got to remember, Dan.
We're all wrong, lads. Jack, Sam, Harry.
He's a defender.
Add to the list.
You're wrong.
You're all wrong. Bailey's the only one right. We're all wrong about Semedo.
Neither was Matt Doherty, but he created loads of chances and scored goals.
He hasn't got an agenda, by the way, but everyone else disagrees with him. Just he thinks that. Yeah? Just remember that.
I'm right.
I like to think that I can call out Semedo when he's not that good. I've said for like 2 or 3 games this season that the wing backs have not been good enough, but this is not one of those occasions because I don't just look at everything through the same rose-tinted glasses and think if you spend the whole game just watching Semedo so you can say how he's bad even though we won,
you got an agenda.
There's something not
you have
quite
to.
Right.
Oh, Steve Dickens got added to the list.
Semedo played really well.
Bailey's not looking good.
That's all I'm doing this podcast now. I'm reading out all the comments.
He just didn't do anything.
Is anyone on Team Bayless in the comments
no
section?
Impact on the game.
He didn't do anything. He stopped their attack like in the very last minute when we were under the cosh.
Yeah,
he made a couple of decent tackles defensively. He did nothing going forward at all.
What do you want to
do? No, he's not. He's a winger. He is a winger.
No, he's a winger.
Wing back. It's in the title.
Open up the pitch.
Martin,
great chances out wide.
How this has even gotten to
this is great.
You're all wrong.
Anyone else?
Honestly,
Bayless has these lot.
Bayless had swathes of people.
Can't trust these lot. They just listen to us, Bayless. You know.
7:30 on a Wednesday night. They got nothing better to do than listen to us 4 idiots on YouTube. They clearly haven't got a life anymore.
There's only one idiot on this podcast this week, and it's you. So
I'm completely right. I'm not backing down. I'm totally right.
Anyone else think
honestly, I can't wait for these swathes of people that support Bayless to come out the woodwork. They'll be here in a minute. They'll turn up in a minute. They'll be.
They've all got lives. They aren't watching us live.
I'm going to see Chip. How good was that? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. That's a world class finish for him. I've got to say. Ait-Nouri on the other side, though. Going at defenders, Harry, like we're always egging him on to do because we know that he's so good at taking people on. Thought he had a brilliant game. And Jay on Twitter says, is Ryan Ait-Nouri £10 million better than Ryan Giles now? And we just don't know the answer to that question yet.
Ait-Nouri was brilliant. And I thought he was good against Leeds as well, but he was my man of the match. I know Neves probably was man of the match, but for me, Ait-Nouri was absolutely brilliant against Everton. The cross in for Kilman as well, great corner. How many times have we seen corners at the first man lately? He gets on one, whips it straight into Kilman's bonds. So, yeah, there was 4 or 5 absolute standout performances, wasn't there? Really. And
I've got to say,
they did it Raul, didn't they, on telly? I think
they did. Yeah, I think his link up play with Hwang was unbelievable. Just some of the flicks and some of the twists and turn and run was just brilliant to watch. But I think I've got to say, Sace, Jack. I thought Sace did his job really well. Yeah. He was there for everything. He was winning everything in the air as well. You know, how much of a loss is he going to be in January?
Well, anyone who's a centre-back will be a loss in January the way it's going. But I did call out Sace after the game when we were talking about man of the match, and I thought he did really well. And that's from someone who is critical of him quite a lot and think that he shouldn't really be in the starting lineup if Bolly is fit right now. But yeah, I can't really fault anybody. And I know people keep saying about the stats about the defence, and the defence, if you're just looking in terms of goals conceded, it's really good. I think we're fourth best in the league or something like that. And you can't complain at that, can you? And I know previously everyone's been... Really, has the defence ever been the problem, or has it always been the goal scoring? And, you know, now that we're starting to see that we're looking a bit more of a threat in front of goal, then, you know...
Jack, we spent the last 5 games of last season looking bloody bad at the back.
Yeah, but I know if you're looking just in terms of goals conceded and compare it to the rest of the league, then, you know, it's never been that bad, I don't think. I could be called out as being wrong there, but last season would obviously be...
There'll be swathes of people that back you.
But the one thing I really liked, which I mentioned in the WhatsApp group, and I know Paul was mentioning in the comments as well, is that even in the second half, when they came at us, we still created chances. Granted, we didn't score one, which is where we need to improve on. But if you think about Jimenez's header that hit the post, obviously Trincão's one we've already mentioned where he should have scored, we're still creating stuff. And that's the real positive for me, where I don't think we'd have been doing that under Nuno. We'd have just been like, try to defend, see the game out now, it's 2-0, and then whatever happens. But the fact that we can be still creating stuff when we're on the back foot, that's a real positive for me. And that's the one thing that's really got me excited, even though we didn't score on this occasion.
But then why did we do exactly what you just said as the opposite against Leeds. That's the one thing that I'd query.
That's very true. Yeah, I don't know.
We did create chances in the second half and should have put the game away. But then against Leeds, we did the exact opposite, absorbed pressure for 20 minutes and got what we deserved, really.
Well, maybe they've learned from their mistakes in the space of a week, hopefully.
I will be honest, though. We did, I know because it was 2-1 and they scored fairly early in the second half, we did kind of sit back a little bit much for my liking, but I suppose that was natural. And also, the substitutions are an issue again. They were kind of late for me. And
I agree.
It should have been Traore. It was crying out for Traore to come
on.
on the
completely
break.
agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. It's just that Dan, your cousin, who I sat next to, which was a lovely experience. I sat next to a Bayliss who smiled through the whole game. It was unbelievable. Very chipper. It made the point that the play in the first half and all of our passing movements and everything that we were doing was on the halfway line. In the second half, it was essentially on the 18-yard on the edge of the 18-yard box, and you can see that. I think I mentioned it last week, Harry, that and everybody disagreed with me, but is he getting out tacticked in this situation? Because I know Rafa's been brought in as this brilliant tactical prodigy, and he's Mr. Tactics and that sort of thing. But you mentioned their substitutions. I mean, if you're trying to absorb pressure, you want the quickest player, or at least one of the quickest players in the league, ready to boot it up too, because all they were doing is booting it out of the way, and then then the attack was coming again.
How many times does a hit and hope come off though? Really?
And he brought Fabio on as well, didn't he? Right at the end instead of Traore as well.
Well, I don't know what he's doing that for, because you're bringing an inexperienced player defending a throw-in against some of the most physical players in the league. Just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think first half, look, we were brilliant, as we've mentioned. Everyone knew their job, and Rafa Benitez recognised they were getting absolutely spanked. And as I mentioned, they brought Fabian Delph on and was much better. You could argue he probably did get out tacticked a little bit, but yeah, let's just hope he can sort out these late substitutions. We've discussed it before.
He might have got that tactic towards the end and in the second half, but you've got to give the guy credit, because going back 3-4 months, none of us really wanted him or knew who he was, and anything about him. And he absolutely battered Benitez, who everyone wanks off for the first 45 minutes, whatever his tactics were. So, I'm totally on board now. I loved it. I really loved that performance on Monday night. Bruno Lage all the way. Who's Nuno? Come on.
You love it so much, you're going to turn up to the next one.
No,
that's how serious
it's birthday party.
So that's true. Right, okay. Let's turn our attentions to Crystal Palace. Ollie Jasper is waiting in the wings to bring us a live away perspective, which is very, very exciting. Ollie, thank you for taking some time out of your evening to come and talk to us. Look, let's start with your manager. Both teams, new managers. Vieira seems to be making a massive impact at Palace.
Yeah, no, he's doing very well. I think since when I was last on there for the last game, it was all negative about Roy and everything like that. But since then, Vieira's just changed everything. There was massive doubts when he come in. A lot of pundits and saying Palace favourites for relegation and all that. But it's completely changed the way he's played. Signings, it's been really good. It's been really good so far.
Good result against Man City. I know a lot of people, including me, will say, well, it was against 10 men, wasn't it? But I mean, it was an accomplished performance.
It was a proper performance. We deserved it as well, because I think the 4 games before, we'd drawn all 4 games, should have won all 4. So that win was really overdue, because before that, we'd been putting in performances, but only won 1 game. So we needed that just to just prop us up the table a bit. So I think up to 13th, 14th now. Not too far behind you boys, so yeah.
Lots of Wolves fans would be
just the 6 or 7 places at the moment.
Well, no, we're catching up.
Lots of Wolves fans who are making a trip to Selhurst Park to see maybe some of the game in that terrible stadium that you have. Do you think that Selhurst Park is going to become maybe that fortress that we're used to Palace having, that maybe under Pulis even, that was definitely there, that raucous atmosphere and a crowd that was behind the team?
Definitely. We've played really well at home this season, still unbeaten at home. So I think we've been putting in real good performances at home. Should have won more games at home. So I think I'm quite confident for tomorrow, and feels like we can beat anyone at the minute, to be fair. Tomorrow? The way we're playing. Sorry, Saturday.
I wish it was Friday.
Get the days all mixed up.
Students, you just pissed them.
In terms of the starting 11, what are your predictions?
Won't be too dissimilar from City, to be fair. I think maybe he brought back in Ayew on the wing for City instead of young lad Elise, but I think maybe Elise might come back in for the Wolves game. Kouyaté came in for the first time in a while on the weekend, played well. So I think probably just unchanged, yeah. Don't fix if it's not broken.
Benteke don't start, does he? He was on the bench when he
No. He had been starting, but I think because Edouard's come in and Elise's come in and Zaha's back from illness, so that front three's really shaping up quite nicely. Still with Eze to come back as well. Eze got minutes for the under-23s a few days ago, so I think he might be on the bench on Saturday, which is good.
It's going to come down to a little bit of experience, because I know we saw pictures of Zaha at the weekend getting quite angry, frustrated, hot-headed is one of his attributes at times, isn't it? But sometimes it can get him in trouble. Could this come down to experience?
Well, the thing was, the City game, he was playing so well in that first half. They were trying to get him sent off. I mean, they were kicking lumps out of him. He was rattling them so much, so that's why. And it looks like he's a massive hothead, because then he's reacting. So I think that is always the opposition's tactic, to get underneath his skin, but always seems to play better when it does happen. So,
any more questions from the group?
Is that right? Martin's put in the comments, Ollie. Eze, is he injured? He's out.
Yeah. Done his Achilles back in May, but so he's on his way back now. Not long till he's back in the first team. So I mean, with him back, Conor Gallagher in that midfield, it's been unbelievable. Looking really good at the minute down at Palace. So yeah.
What's the biggest difference between the dinosaur Hodgson and Vieira then? Is he just more attacking?
It's completely changed. It's just changed everything. The pressing. Don't know if you've seen the stats for this season compared to last season, but the pressing's just unbelievable. Passing out from the back, creating chances. I mean, last couple of years it was so boring, but now it's proper getting up for every game So yeah, all positive.
The way it should be. I can remember we played Palace was it the first season back in the Prem? Maybe the second. And Bayliss had that ridiculous bet saying we wouldn't have more than 10 points by Christmas, and he paid out in October. I just wondered, Ollie, whether have you had a bet with Bayliss? And if not, let's set one up now.
I'm willing to set one up now.
Oh,
do you know what? It's a really good point, that game, because who scored the winner?
Hold on. Ollie, would you have Semedo at Palace?
Semedo at Palace? Joel Ward. Joel Ward is quality. Player of the month.
So what? I just want to see how cocky Bayliss might get, obviously with you on the stream and stuff. So Wolves to finish higher than Palace, Bayliss?
I can't take money off poor students, can I? That's not right.
You can donate it to a charity.
Some sort of bet that will be paid out in the cricket season, I think, Bayliss.
Oh, it's a low blow.
Palace to finish above Wolves.
I'll take that, Bayliss.
And it is okay then. And it is loser solo naked lap.
Why the nakedness?
Always
on tour.
I just what is it with cricket people? You come on, have a bet about the football, and one of you's got to run around naked. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
It's that or a 3PC, your choice.
Yeah, okay, free PC. Yeah.
What? As in a computer?
No, 3PC is a three pint
three
challenge.
Penises.
Right. Okay.
Chin 3 pints in succession.
I look forward to watching you do that.
So no one's sucking everyone off, and there's
just Harry on Tomato. That's the only way.
Yeah. I've prediction edit then.
Yeah, it's got to be a score prediction.
Give us a scorecast.
I've got one little point actually before, and we didn't raise it last week. But
no, Jack, you can't run around naked anyway.
Oh, okay. But one thing that we didn't give sort of discuss was, do you remember the Palace banner for the Newcastle game?
It's good.
Got a bit of controversy, didn't it? And then obviously your home fans must have.
I don't know who bothered reporting us to the Met Police about that.
I know.
I don't know what that was.
What was it? Just remind me.
It was something about
Newcastle.
It was talking about the history of the Newcastle owners and everything, all what they've done in Saudi Arabia and all that. And it got reported to the police, but I just brushed it aside pretty soon after.
I'll see if I can. I think I've got it here. I'm going to.
So
it's basically it's a image of a Saudi guy, sort of looks like he's beheading a magpie, saying "We've got our club back," and then a checklist saying "terrorism tick, beheadings tick, civil rights abuse, tick, murder, and so you can get the gist. Censorship, persecution, and we've got our club back under that. And it was reported to the authorities apparently, and was obviously, I think they had to throw out any complaint because most of it's factual.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably based on fact.
Quite amusing.
Perfect. Score prediction, Ollie.
Yeah.
Good
Go,
score cast, Ollie.
I think 2-2. I think 2-2 on the weekend. I think it'd be a good
Another
opening
draw.
game.
Your
It'll
first
be a
goal
good game.
scorer.
First goal scorer, Odson Edward.
I'd have loved
There
it
you
if
go,
it's Semedo then. Obviously.
I've actually, weirdly, I've already got that lined up.
Excellent. Well, Ollie, thanks for joining us. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So excellent. Yeah.
Cheers, Ollie. See you in a bit.
Let's have a look at your latest betting odds and ticket news. Bayliss has your betting news.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you actually say that, Harry, because that is the bet I picked. But I'll save it till last. There's a good boost on Sky Bet already. Roman Sace to score a header, 18-1. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's been brilliant the last couple of weeks.
There's a little double chancer as well. Hwang Hee-chan to score first, and Wolves to win either 2-0 or 2-1, 33-1.
Harry needs it for the views. It's the views.
It's not a bad one. Going slightly left field. Ryan Ait-Nouri to score first.
That's very left field. It's left wing back field.
Thank you. 1-0 Wolves. Only 150-1. I thought it'd be slightly higher than that, but still a strong price.
Strong price. Yeah. Assist.
And then a Desmond with Semedo scoring the first goal.
300.
Ooh. Yeah, I would say it's long.
275.
Yeah, see, the bookies know. It's 475-1.
Wow. That's the longest it's been for a while. That's what she
We haven't done our.
Shall I put it? Do you want me to put it on?
We haven't done our score predictions, have we? Because obviously we asked Ollie. But because it's my actual birthday Saturday, it's got to be 4-1 Wolves. It's written in the stars. I bet on it every week.
Are you going to put your birthday money on it?
If there is a God out there and you're listening, Mr. Jesus, make it 4-1 to Wolves. Just this one week, and then I'll never ask you again.
Was it the what game was it when you actually last won that 4-1? Because there was a Leeds game where you didn't cash out, did you?
It was when we beat Leeds 4-1.
It was Leeds,
yeah, at home.
and then was it Bolton where
you
didn't cash out and then they scored the fifth
5-1. It was 5-1.
Who do you want as your first goal scorer? And I'll put it on for you. And if it comes in, we'll spend the money at your party.
It'd be a lot of money, that.
I'll tell you what.
I'll just tell you that 4-1 Semedo.
Let's go Raul. Let's go
Hang on.
4-1 Semedo.
You saying is it not an open bar at Harry's party?
900-1.
900-1.
It's an open
No,
bar.
1,900-1.
Paul's put in the comments, Semedo to score from the halfway line, 600-1. Is that real? Can you even have that as a bet?
He doesn't go past it very often, does he? Jack, you want ticket news?
I have. That seems to be the theme. There's not really much to say because everything sells out pretty quick these days. The Burnley home game, which is a midweek game at 7:30 on Wednesday, the 1st of December, is on sale to the Membership Plus members.
Plush.
Yeah. So I think the next home game after that to go on sale is the Liverpool home game on the Saturday 3:00, which is going to be popular, I think, Saturday 4th of December, but not on sale yet to the members. And then I've just got the away information, which is actually on my phone because we've got the ticket information for Norwich. And it's only been shared.
I'm looking forward to that game.
You think we're going to be there first?
I mean, they can't go a whole season without winning games.
They played all right against Leeds, I watched most of it, and they weren't too bad at all. And I actually sort of thought that might be their first win ahead of the game against Leeds. So I think they're better than Newcastle.
100%.
We'll see on that. So Norwich versus Wolves, Saturday, 27th of November, 3 p.m. Allocation is 2,669, which is a little bit low, but Norwich is not the biggest ground. So they are on sale to the gold away season ticket holders as of Friday, the silver away season ticket holders as of the following Monday, the 8th, and then on the points starting with 1,090 as of Wednesday, the 10th of November. And I know Badis is looking for a ticket for that one. So if anyone can
I'd really like to. I tell you what, if someone can get me 2 tickets in the away end for Norwich away, I will never mention the name Semedo ever again.
I'll be honest. Right, you've probably pissed everyone off already.
Make it happen.
So good luck with that.
Honestly, 2 tickets in the away end. I will never ever I just won't ever say his name again.
That's worth a reach out to a club.
there because it's a pain to get to, isn't it, Norwich?
It's a long way.
Pain to
You'll
get to
one.
for an
You'll
away
get a
game.
few that easy. Yeah.
Perfect. Right. Okay. Let's move on to COP26. BBC Sport put out a tweet saying, "You drive to the game, have a burger, hand over your ticket, watch the match, and give the third kit you bought a rare outing. But should football fans be doing more to help the climate?" And to be fair, loads of comments on this. So Sky, BT, Amazon putting United versus Arsenal as an 8 p.m. kickoff on a Thursday night. Last train back to London is at half time. It costs 115 quid. So instead of criticising ordinary fans, why don't you start holding corporations and the government to account? The ones are saying stop clubs changing their kit every season. That's like an American model, isn't it? So you just have the same kit forever. Boring. Scrap players' names on shirts. Just number them 1 to 11. Just to stop.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. We're done. Greenhouse gases. Polar bears are saved. You just can't have Barry 22 on the back.
It's funny though because someone's putting not sure that having number 12 on a kit is causing the climate change crisis, mate.
It's also like that's a great idea, but I can't wait till Daniel Podence has to wear Willy's Bolly's kit the next week.
It looked like big. Ban third kits. No games you played when away fans can't get the train home. I think that's a fair point. You know, and I think Martin actually said that he missed the train home, had to get an 80 quid taxi back to Worcester because the trains weren't reliable. I don't know what more to do.
The trains late at night, or not even that late at night really, but when you're trying to get around the country after about 10:30 are shocking, I think. I'm sure other countries do it a lot better than us, but it's kind of this thing like, particularly if you're trying to get back from a midweek game and you think, oh, sorry, there's one train, and to do that, I need to leave 10 minutes before the end. And even then, if that train's cancelled or delayed, Network Rail will quite happily leave you in the bloody middle of nowhere to get a taxi. So
there's a lot more football than the trains, though. Has there ever really been trains after 10:30 at night? The football special is what people need.
I think if you're going the way we're going with, like, you know, global economy, we need more trains later. I don't think 11 o'clock at night is particularly late these days, but it's a different conversation. But I do agree with the fact that a lot of these things always go to, and this has been since the start of recycling, really, like to put the blame on the consumer, not on the people who are actually causing the problem. I think it started back in the day, going off task now, but when Coke got really popular, so there were glass bottles everywhere. Coke, the corporation, put a lot of money into recycling campaigns and, don't harm the bear. Here's a mascot. You should be recycling. It's your responsibility. You doing this. It's the same thing happening again, isn't it? Really, the people who can actually change any of this are the people who are pissing around, flying to Glasgow on private jets now. But you know, if we don't use a paper straw, we're a prick and we're killing everybody.
Well, a football example is Manchester United flying to Leicester.
That's just ridiculous in itself, isn't it? I mean,
and actually, on your Coca-Cola thing, do you know there's the 2/3 of the plastic bottles that are in the ocean? Do you know where they come from? Coca-Cola. So, you know, they could be glass.
but it is the most popular drink in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Soft drink. And only one place in the world is it not the number one selling.
Is that like North Korea or something?
It's decent.
No,
JD as well.
It's in Scotland where it's Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
Facts.
Interesting. Do you think they should regionalise the League Cup in the early stages, Harry? Would that help?
If they want to. That probably would help, wouldn't it? And it'd probably help fans as well, to be honest. No one gives a shit.
More people will go to the game, I think.
I've got to sound like Bailey's now, but none of this is going to make a difference unless you talk to China
just ban everything
and say you need to stop doing all this polluting. Like, isn't it? If you look at the graphs, it's like some of the biggest countries in the world, like China and these places, are just doing way more than we could ever feasibly possibly do.
The whole of Europe is 7% of the world's CO2 emissions.
Sorry.
But they haven't got. There's not 7% of the world's population, is it?
Can I just say something? I've been holding this in while you've all been chatting. Because Bailey said he'll never talk about Semedo again if he gets a ticket. Steve Dickens put he'll get 2,660 tickets given to him.
Bailey's very swathes of people that were supporting you.
They all got things to do on a Wednesday night.
Oh, fucking hell. I've been holding that in for like 10 minutes while you've been talking about that.
Where were we?
Oh, anyway, right, yeah. So China sorted it out, even though they are 38th on the list when you take into account emissions per person. So
that's because they purposely keep. Oh God, let's
check
not
your agendas.
But
let's go from COP. COP26 to transfer window, and I think firstly, are we surprised that Nuno was sacked by Spurs at the weekend?
Not at all.
Harry, go on.
I think I remember that South Korea video we did with that South Korea people. Because obviously they love Tottenham and Son.
Yeah.
They asked me. They said, "Do you think Nuno would be a success?" And I literally said on that video, "I'll be surprised if he lasts till Christmas because of his style of play." And I'll be honest, I didn't think he'd be this early, but it's never going to work, was it? He was about the 7th choice. His style of play is never going to be accepted at Spurs because they want to be top 6 playing like Barcelona, don't they? Let's be honest. So, not surprised, gutted for him. And what I will say is, I thought it was a disgrace seeing some of our fans' reactions, loving it, loving his downfall. I mean, people have got short memories. He's been the best manager in the last 30 years, and some of our fans are laughing that it's happening to him. I think that was a bit distasteful, but yeah, gutted for him, to be honest.
Let's cross over to Jack, who's laughing.
I'm still giggling to myself. I'm just about to tweet Greta Thunberg and say we've solved the climate crisis with the League Cup stuff.
We've got Villa away on the Tuesday.
It's a regional League Cup. So
yeah, and I've got no name or number on the back of my shirt.
Nuno, I felt quite bad for him, to be honest. I mean, the geezer won Manager of the Month in his first month. it's November, and he's had 10 games in charge. And granted, we know whatever football they it's probably not what they want, and we've seen it ourselves. But surely, if you bring a manager in, then he needs to at least have more than 10 Premier League games. It can't be that bad, can it? Particularly when, what they're expecting. They're about 6th in the league. What are they expecting?
Yeah, 8th.
I don't understand what they're expecting.
I don't know.
There's been a few games where they never had a shot on goal, haven't there? Like the Man United one, Palace away.
They lost to those minnows as well, didn't they, in the Europa League Conference League?
Yeah, but he did rotate quite a bit. So I think it's a weird appointment from the start, really. And there was it was in the public eye that he wasn't the first choice, which can't be helpful. And then also, Harry Kane's got a lot to answer for because he was very unprofessional, I think, considering he's their best player and he's spat his dummy out at the start, basically. And now doesn't look the same player because he doesn't want to be there. And the fans are on his back, so they've got question marks about him as well. Yeah. And it's not the sort of behaviour you'd expect from someone who's obviously already getting paid 120 grand a week and is the England captain, to be honest. So I think he's had it tough, Nuno, and it's a bit of a poison chalice now. What Conte get?
I saw a funny tweet. Sorry, it's just come to me. Someone put on Twitter: "Is Matt Doherty the first person to be managed by Dean Saunders and Conte?"
Not even far off, is he? But the thing is, what I don't get is how they signed their 7th choice and now they've ended up sacking their 7th choice and getting their first choice. It's a strange scenario, isn't it, Bayliss?
Was he still in a contractual issue with Milan? Conte?
No, he'd left, and I think he said he wanted a bit of a break from football, and now he's ready 2 months later, or 3 months later. Is just
I don't think it's a Nuno problem, is it? It's definitely a Spurs problem. There's something wrong with them. Like, it's great to see. It's really bad for Nuno, and I think it's horrible how they're hire and fire us.
In a footballing fan perspective.
In a footballing fan perspective, it's just the most Spurs thing possible, isn't it?
Isn't it? Do you think he's going to make a difference, Harry? Because, I've had TalkSport on most of this week, loving it. And everybody just seems to go, oh, my God, this is a world-class manager. He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I'm sitting there going, is he, though? I mean... Yeah, he's always inherited. He's inherited always very good squads. He was very good at Juventus. Obviously, won the league with Inter Milan. But Chelsea, was it Willian when they won? I can't remember what trophy they won now. It's the FA Cup. It must be the FA Cup because City always win the League Cup. But a picture and he blurred out Conte's face on his Instagram or something.
Hasn't he got one of the highest win percentages at Chelsea though? Like things like that. He's obviously got the pedigree, but. What are you going to do with that team? Will Harry Kane start trying now? He needs him to, doesn't he? Because they're not... I mean, are they a top 4 team, really? They've got some great players going forward, but it's a tough job. But he has got the pedigree, and hopefully, for Spurs fans' sake, he tries to get them attacking. But it's a great appointment. And someone put in the comments, they reckon that Nuno is a stopgap waiting for Conte to be ready, because obviously he was first choice, wasn't he? And as Bayliss mentioned, was he tied up with his old club? I don't know, but... He is good. It's a great appointment, but I know what you mean, Sam.
There was rumours flying around that Nuno gets paid 10 million quid, did he, for those 10 games as a payoff or something? I don't know how true that is, but it's not bad work if you get it.
So it's going to be a lot of money.
I think it's apparently it's about 10 million quid. He's for literally 3 months' work, if that.
And not even doing it very well.
I mean, if I was him, just go back to Portugal and just take a few months off and just reassess. I'm sure he'll come back with a job on the continent, not potentially in England straight away, but either in Portugal or Spain or somewhere. I'm sure there'll be takers. And we know he's a good manager. It's just a case of it depends what the expectation is. When he came in with us, what was the expectation? You know, get promoted from the Championship is different from trying to whatever Spurs want. I don't know, win the Champions League with a squad that's mid-table. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because I think this January transfer window, Harry, could be absolutely massive. If you've got Newcastle, if they start to pick up a win for the first time this season, we'll be delving into transfer market. They've obviously got to find a manager first, which is proving more difficult than it seemed it would be. So, yeah, do you think it could be a record break in January?
Well, yeah, with Newcastle about, as you mentioned, it's got to be, hasn't it, really? We're going to dip our toe in, you'd hope, try and get Sanchez, but that'll probably be a loan. Yeah, you'd expect teams to spend, but it'd be really interesting because people like Newcastle are going to come in and everyone's going to add money on, like Bailey said last week. If they offer 20 for Cody, we'll want 30. So it's going to be a big January.
This Newcastle thing is just bubbling up to be brilliant, though. Like, have you noticed? Because
I don't know why Amazon didn't send their cameras in as soon as the deal was done.
They still haven't won.
Emery's
they've only got 4 points, and the thing is, I've talking about in the group. They've got a very difficult December. Their December's about as bad as ours. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, it is.
So they've got to get points on the board in November, and they're still all over the place at the moment. And who's going to want to come to them in January, even if they're throwing money everywhere? If they're bottom of the league and 12 points adrift of safety, it's a massive, massive gamble for a manager, and even more so for players who they're trying to attract, no matter how much you pay them. So
Nuno to Newcastle, Jack. Everyone's saying in the comments. Nuno to Newcastle.
Nuno. Maybe.
Wouldn't be stupid. I don't think that'd be stupid.
You could keep him up. Let's be honest.
Cody with him.
Take Cody with him. The thing is,
I want to keep Cody, by the way. I thought he had a really good game against Everton.
Oh, here he is, trying to fucking backtrack after years of hurt. I think, I mean, you mentioned Sanchez there, Harry, but Bayliss, can you see a centre-back coming in?
Botman.
I hope so. Need one, don't we?
Well, here's a magic list I've put together of potential loan moves from either Chelsea, Liverpool, City or United, because I thought everybody else is a rival for fifth. So, Ake at City, and he's taken 3 starts this season for Man City.
Yes.
Hold on, is he available for loan? Is this an actual list?
I'm just saying, these are players that have played 3 or less games, fewer.
Yeah,
games.
definitely take her.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
Zinchenko's had 2 substitute appearances this season.
left wing back there, and we've already got Ait-Nouri.
Shit house, he can go there.
John Stones started one substitute appearance.
Move on.
This is incredible.
That's just a silly one.
You might have talked about Semedo. This is ridiculous.
Joe Gomez at Liverpool has had 2 substitute appearances.
We've already had their young lad Hoover.
Centre-back, yeah.
That's like go away. We can't keep it.
Nat Phillips, no starts, no appearances. Nico Williams at Liverpool, no starts, no substitute appearances. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look at Chelsea. Emerson, decent player, 1 substitute appearances. Sarr, 1 appearance in the League Cup.
He plays in goal, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Here we go. Manchester United. Phil Jones.
Oh,
no Phil Jones.
I'd rather play you at the back, Sam.
Well, after that tackle, Harry.
Exactly.
Textbook.
I think you're better than Phil Jones.
Darlow.
No
appearances. No.
Well, if it's in January, I'll take anybody, Sam. Anybody who can play centre back, because we're not going to have any.
Will we get Botman, man? Botman has been coming. He has been quoted, Botman, as saying he would have wanted to come to us in the summer. So if we go back in for him, go back in for Sanchez, maybe try and get Van der Beek.
Van der Beek is it? That's a good point. It's on my list. And the other one was Alex Telles at Manchester United, because that was the big one, wasn't it? That upset lots of Wolves fans who thought, "Oh God, it's going to happen. It's going to happen." But he's played no games this season.
No, you definitely would take him. He'd straight away, wouldn't he? Portuguese.
Exactly.
I don't think Wolves are going to go nuts. January is notoriously difficult to buy in. I can't see us bringing in 4 or 5. Might be 1, maybe 2.
The thing is,
I'd be happy with that.
The thing is, though, that if we're doing as well as we are come the end of December, even with all the African Cup of Nations and everything, and they still don't back him in some way, people are going to kick off, because at the moment he's probably overachieving with the way it's going, really, considering the squad size. So I think he deserves a bit of backing. if we do get to this stage and we're still in a decent position, like we look like we might be with the way it's going, but early days yet.
Question from Aaron. We all said that the transfer window was absolutely horrendous, didn't we? And I mean, maybe we were just feeling a bit sad that we didn't sign the injured Sanchez. But Aaron says, was the transfer window actually that bad? Ait-Nouri on a permanent, Trincao loan with an option, Hwang loan with an option, Sarr discounted price. 4 of the 11 starters on this team all came from this one window. How can that be called the worst window under Fosun? Could it actually be considered now one of the best, second only to the window which signed Neves, Jota?
What I'll say to that is, it's easy to say now because obviously we're 7th. We've had a
Captain hindsight.
We've had a favourable run of fixtures. We still needed a midfielder. There's no doubt about that. And even Bruno Lage still says it now in his press conferences that we've got a small squad. So it was a bad window. But I agreed. Some of the signings we did make and loans to buy were brilliant. But it was a bit naive of us not to get in Sanchez. We tried to get him. We even got desperate and went for Kiefer Moore. So Jeff Shee and that wanted
The
more.
2 a.m.
So they didn't plan. They didn't have the window they wanted. It was a bad window. I wouldn't say it's the worst under Fosun, I don't think. But yeah, we needed a midfielder at least. Come on, man. I mean, it's got to... Aaron, when we speak, because obviously we speak on WhatsApp a lot, when we speak come mid-January, then we'll talk about the summer transfer window after everyone's gone to the African Cup of Nations. But I agree, mate. 7th in the league. I mean, we've got Neto to come back. We've got so many options going forward. Sugar, I wouldn't know what to do.
I just miss Johnny. I just want Johnny back. Just miss Johnny.
Johnny to come back. Brilliant.
Yeah, they're big players. And I think when you look at the back 3 now, 3 centre-backs, Jack, are any of them actually droppable? Because I don't think Cody's droppable because it's Cody. Kilman, I don't think you can drop. Like I say, Sace has had a brilliant couple of weeks. Does Bolly even get into the side before he leaves for the AFCON?
I'd like to think so. Like I said, I praised Sace earlier, so I think he had a very good game against Everton. I still think he's got that mistake in him, though, like I've said before. I think about the transfer window, though, and even looking at the centre-backs is the thing that just really sort of riled me, and I think I said before, it's bordering on incompetence, is the fact that we're losing 2 of those centre-backs in January. And we've basically, you left them with what? You left with having to play Dendoncker there. Or maybe that's why Marcel's going to rest now because he knows he might have to play centre-back in the winter. So that's the thing that's really just threadbare, is that we're a team that plays with 3 centre-backs and we're going to have 2 come the middle of December when we're going into a run of fixtures, which is really, really hard, like ridiculously hard. And with quick turnaround times, we've got 48 hours between Boxing Day and the 28th. Both 12:30 kickoffs against really good teams. It's like it could really make or break us, and we're underprepared. And that's the thing which really, really annoyed me. Really, is we're a couple of bodies shy, and I know us don't want us to panic buy at the same time, but they should have backed him more. So,
Bailey, so you're a fan of the Cup. Harry, you're the fan of the FA Cup. That's in January as well. So I guess you can kiss goodbye to a Cup run realistically.
Under 23s FC, we'll be playing in that.
That's it. Yeah. Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there from this week, unless anybody else has some burning desire to add anything else to the end of that. No. Excellent. No, okay. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Goodbye, everybody.
Dan Bayliss.
Goodbye, everybody.
And Jack, who's in Germany next week.
Oh, yeah. Won't be here next week. Much love. Guten Tag.
Auf Wiedersehen, Jack.
Will it be Seb?
It could be Seb on Tuesday night. Wow.
On his
that.
iPhone. It'd be brilliant.
On his iPhone.
Maybe not.
Huge. What a star. And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Guten Tag. Oh, I have to end it.